So, you've probably played around with an AI chatbot, right? But have you ever wondered how to get it to go from just a simple question and answer tool to a really powerful creative partner? Well, that's exactly what we're going to dig into today, the art and science of prompt engineering.
Okay, let's dive right in. At its core, prompt engineering is really all about bridging the gap between what we want as humans and what the machine understands. It's about crafting the perfect instructions to get the exact result you're looking for, whether you're trying to draft some killer marketing copy in a very specific brand voice, generate Python code, or even just summarize a super dense research paper.
And that's the real challenge, isn't it? How do you move beyond just simple questions to create these complex, super reliable AI systems that can actually reason through problems? In this explainer, we're going to break down exactly how you can do just that. So here's the plan. We'll kick things off with the basics of what prompt engineering even is. Then, we'll dive straight into the example-based techniques. And after that, we'll get into the really cool stuff, advanced reasoning and workflows. We'll also look at how to pick the right technique for whatever you're doing, and then wrap it all up with an AI product playbook so you can put this all into practice.
All right, let's start with the most fundamental approach there is, teaching an AI simply by showing it what you want. This is really the core idea behind all of the example-based methods.
Okay, so this map right here is going to be our guide for this whole thing. We're going to start over on the left with the foundational techniques of example-based prompting, and we'll work our way from the simplest ideas to the most sophisticated.
First up is zero-shot prompting. Think of this as the most basic way to do things. You just give the AI a task, like translate "hello, how are you" into French, and it just does it based on everything it already knows. It's super fast, but yeah, it's really best for those simple, straightforward tasks.
All right, so a step up from that is one-shot prompting. Here, you give the AI just one really good example. And that single example is enough to guide it to match a specific format, a particular brand voice, or just a consistent style that you're aiming for.
Now, when things get really tricky, or you need that extra bit of nuance, that's where few-shot prompting comes in. By giving the model a handful of examples, say 2 to 5, we help it figure out the patterns and the context. This is a huge deal for boosting accuracy and reliability, which, let's be real, is everything when you're building production-grade systems.
So this all boils down to a really simple but powerful rule. The more complex or nuanced your task is, the more examples you should throw at it. That's the secret sauce for improving the quality and, more importantly, the predictability of what your AI is going to give you. Okay, so we've covered teaching by example. Now let's get into the really cool stuff. Teaching an AI not just to answer, but to actually reason and execute complex, multi-step workflows. This is where we go from just giving simple instructions to actually building autonomous systems. And we're back to our map. This time, we're shifting our focus over to the right side, advanced reasoning and workflows. These are the techniques that let us build what we call agentic AI, basically systems that can act on their own to get stuff done. First up, we've got chain of thought. What's so cool about this is you're basically telling the model, hey, before you give me the final answer, I want you to show your work. Think it through, step by step. And you'd be amazed at how much this improves accuracy for any task that involves logic or complex reasoning.
Prompt chaining takes this idea even further. Think of it like an assembly line for AI. Instead of one giant, complicated task, you break it down into a sequence of smaller, manageable prompts, where the output from one step becomes the input for the next. This makes your whole workflow so much more reliable and easier to control. Then we have REACT, which is short for reason and act. Now, this is a huge leap forward. Why? Because it lets the model actually interact with the outside world. It can decide for itself when to think and when it needs to go use an external tool, like a search engine or an API, to find the information it needs to finish the job.
And finally, for those times when you really need to scale things up, there's a technique called ReWoo. With this approach, the AI first creates a really detailed plan, and then it just executes that plan, without having to constantly reason through every single step. The genius here is that it separates the thinking part from the doing part, which makes it way faster, more predictable, and honestly, a lot cheaper to run.
Okay, we've covered a ton of ground. So how do you actually use all this? Let's boil it down into a practical playbook that any AI product leader can use to decide which tool to pull out of the toolbox and when. So here's a quick cheat sheet for those example-based techniques we started with. The main thing to remember is the trade-off, right? Zero-shot is quick and dirty for simple tasks, while few-shot gives you that high-end accuracy and nuance, but you've got to provide more examples.
And now for the advanced stuff. This table lays it all out.
You can really see the progression here, can't you? We start by just improving the AI's internal thinking with chain of thought, then we learn how to build complex autonomous systems with React, and finally, we optimize them for the real world with Rewoo. Each technique really serves a different strategic goal.
So if you're a product manager, this is what you need to burn into your brain. You have to match the right technique to your product's goal. What are you building for? Is it correctness? Then you want chain of thought. Is it reliability? Go for prompt chaining. Autonomy? React is your friend. And if it's all about scale and cost, you've got to look at Rewoo.
All right, let's wrap this all up. Look, these techniques aren't just some techie details for engineers. They are the absolute strategic heart of modern AI product design.
At the end of the day, what we've walked through here isn't just a grab bag of prompting tricks. These are the fundamental building blocks for creating AI that you can actually depend on, that can scale, and that can do sophisticated work. Mastering these methods is absolutely essential for anyone looking to build truly effective AI products.
And really getting a handle on these concepts is critical across the entire AI product lifecycle, from the very first strategy sessions and discovery, all the way through to launching and scaling your product.
So, if you want to dive even deeper on this stuff, I'd really recommend the AI Product Management Playbook. It's got more strategies, and it's a great way to connect with other AI product leaders. The ability to effectively talk to AI, it's becoming one of the most critical skills out there. By mastering these techniques, you're not just building better products. You're literally shaping the future of how all of us interact with technology.